Here we are at the precipice, and I can see it, the glimpse of light piercing through the turbulence, surrounding in the darkness, closing in. Clouds are starting to form. I'll stand with you in the storm, through the rain and the hail. I'll take your hand. Let's go. This is it. They've sealed their fate. It's time to
obliterate the deep state. Obliterate the deep state. Totally obliterate the deep state. You may have to get you a larger room. Obliterate and maybe it'll be built by somebody that knows how to build, and we won't have columns. Do you understand that? We get rid of the columns.
We are 40K foot view, and I can see it. Those asleep have awoken, pushed through, rising out of the darkness, closing in. Clouds are starting to form. I'll stand with you in the storm, through the rain and the hail. I'll take your hand. Let's go.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning.
You know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp.
It's time to
Obliterate the deep state. Obliterate the deep state. Totally obliterate the deep state. Obliterate the deep state. Totally obliterate the deep state. Obliterate the deep state. I really see something that said, take a look what happened.
Coming to you live from Alaska. No, not really, because this is a pre-record. Welcome. So, welcome. Like I said, this podcast might transform a little bit because I'm still not sure of the name or even the general concept of what this show will be. But the reason why I'm adamant about doing it is because I feel like God is telling me to do it. So we're still working on, we meaning me and God, but he already knows, but I'm trying to figure it out, the kinks and everything as to what this show will be. And so basically, okay. So I was like down talking to my mom and I'm like, okay, so Trump's in, this is great. Everything's going good. There is a weeding out of the deep state and the corruption and the cabal within our government, right? Obliterate the deep state. This is happening. I trust Trump 100%. But Trump can't do everything. There's no way. And as General Flynn has told us often, and many other, people that understand how to fix the problem from within, we need to start on a local level, or we need to start on a level that we as individual people can affect people for positive change, for good. And these values and these wonderful things, which is what unite us as Americans. So I'm like struggling with this. I'm like, well, what the heck do I do? I even told my mom, like, I want I come on here, right? And I've done like the 2 shows. I've already done Awakening with Abby. And, I'm going through Bible verses and these things, and they're so amazing and wonderful, and applying it to your life and what this means. But then there's also part of me that's like, well, this is the world we're living in right now. And we also need to pay attention to the world stage, or what's happening in our American government and things like that, because where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, right? So when America was founded, we had, I believe, the Spirit of the Lord. We had the Holy Spirit, which is it's wonderful because it pairs with the founding of our country, when we wrote these things like all men are created equal and we're endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. Everybody in that room agreed. And some of them may have not even been Christians or even people that believe there was a Creator. But from a secular standpoint, they can go, we do believe that all men should have certain rights, and that there should be a law or a line drawn, right? Limits, that this is considered wrong. Values, right? And then, of course, the more biblical standpoint is we are like, okay, we're created in God's image, and we are to preserve the godly values that are given to us, that we can teach others and teach our children. And that's like exactly like what I talk about in our Constitution. We have these wonderful things that protect us, like the Fourth Amendment, like that's the right to your privacy. Actually, I'm going to go into this. Actually, I'm kind of jumping ahead. So yeah, I got a little sidetracked, but basically it was just kind of like, well, what is important? What should I be putting out here for people? What is something that I could help my fellow man, right? So I started thinking, okay, well, we should go through probably the concepts of what it is to be an American. And I'm going to do specifically American because honestly, guys, I mean, like, America is like kick-ass. We're not going to nobody's going to argue about that. Now listen, it doesn't mean that we have been infiltrated by crazy propaganda and programming and demoralization, right? I get it. But the way our founding fathers created this country, and we are at a breaking point, by the way. Trump is here, and it is a godsend. And like I said, he is busy, and we put him in there, so we're supporting him. But there is a lot to be done, and this just doesn't end overnight. After 4 years that he's in, this is a work in progress. We gotta bring America back to its original values, to its original. The spirit of why it was founded. Because, when the Pilgrims came over, I think it was about 150 years, they were just, it was very important, just discovering and expanding in the land and everything. But then it was about, 150 years, give or take. Then we were like, you know what? We actually want to become our own. We want to declare our independence. We want to become United States of America, bro. And we sent that letter to the king. And this is the other thing. We are straight up rebels, man. We've always been rebels. I was even talking to somebody. I was like, it's even being a Christian is rebellious, because we're at the end of the day, I don't listen to none of you. I listen to God, right? And sometimes that could literally mean standing against, let's say, laws that were passed unjustly, that go against God's law, right? And so there's all these types of concepts. So, and everybody here understands the concept of how we want to obliterate the deep state, right? We don't want this corruption within our government anymore. So we want to obliterate the deep state. However, this is not like any revolution of our time. This is very different. We want to clean the corrupt old guard out of our government, but we want to preserve America and its values, its rights, and the rule of law. I know that could be a triggering thing, a triggering word, but you have to have certain laws in order for a society to prevail and to continue. And it's good for everybody. It's wonderful. It's what allows people to have one of the biggest things for freedom is private property. And that's yours, and you can do what you want on that. That's like the ultimate sense of freedom, right? So there's some really important things. So I wanted to focus on what is it to be an American? What is the foundation of who we are? So being an American is fundamentally about embracing a set of shared ideals and principles that transcend birthplace, ethnicity, or heritage. Rooted in the nation's founding documents, like the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. And even more than that, just very fundamental human rights principles. But of course, the Constitution lines it out and also puts them in the Bill of Rights that show, well, everybody should believe this, but in case you don't, we're going to write it out. So these include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, equality under the law, and the right to self-determination. Concepts that form the bedrock of American identity and allow for individual freedom, opportunity, and participation in democracy. At its core, this identity is not inherited by blood, but chosen through commitment to these values, fostering a diverse society where people from all backgrounds unite under a common creed. That's the most important thing right there. We got a lot of people coming into this country, but they're not uniting under a common creed. And that's why we're having, dare I say, warfare in our cities and on the streets in America. So I write, immigration and assimilation play key roles as newcomers are expected to adopt these principles while contributing to the cultural mosaic, emphasizing unity over division. And that's the thing, you can bring all your culture. It's not a problem. As long as your culture doesn't violate human rights, and that's why I have issues with certain religions, because they actually violate human unalienable rights, God-given rights. So got a little problem with that. And it's okay to say that. So I'm going to say it. So come to the country. You can bring your wonderful stuff from your culture, but we emphasize unity over division. Personal responsibility, grit, and self-resilience are often highlighted as cultural hallmarks, alongside a devotion to protecting freedoms and standing against threats to the nation's way of life, whether through civic engagement, military service, or everyday acts of community support. This includes rejecting hierarchies based on heredity, prioritizing merit and individual rights instead. Views on Americanism may vary, though, across the political spectrum, as we have seen. Some emphasize compassion, inclusiveness, and rejecting discrimination. And look, those things are great, but you know how those have been polarized insanely, right? As essential to the identity, right? The identity of Americanism. While others stress preserving traditional values, limited government, and a strong defense of liberty against external and internal influences. So there is a mix, right? The concept is, though, this is what we should all unite on. And I'm talking to like the liberals, believe in my heart, there could be good liberals out there. I know you exist. So just understand the foundation of the American way is there's a collective promise, a land where differences, we could be different, right? As long as it doesn't violate human rights, we can coexist under shared commitments to freedom and mutual respect. Just such wonderful things. Freedom, mutual respect, continually evolving through debate and action. We can talk about it. We can work on it. That's what it's all about. That's what we're here for. We don't need to fight. Okay. That's like low level vibration. We can work it out. And I have a list of our amendments, and there's 10 of them. The later half are very important, but they do have to just do within like the judicial system. And if you're going to court or you're being tried for something, and I recommend everybody does go through them. But because of what I'm going to do in this stream, I'm going to read through like a few of these, and then we're going to jump to a video by the Hillsdale College, and it's great. It's really great, and I just have to play it for you because it's that good. But first, the First Amendment protects your freedom of speech. It protects your freedom of religion. But again, here with the religion thing here, if you have a religion that is violating human rights, I don't consider you the ability to continue that religion. Does that make sense? That you shouldn't be able to coexist if you're violating human rights. So I hope everybody understands that, right? But peaceful religions, great. First Amendment protects religion. It protects the press, free press as well. Should protect only the free press. It protects your right to peacefully assemble and the right to petition the government. This means you can say what you think. You can practice any faith or none and gather with others without government interference. There's been a lot of violations of that. As I'm reading that, I'm like, oh man, yeah. All right. Second Amendment. And this is all, guys, the concept of what it is to be an American and discovering it again and getting excited of who we are and our origins. And like I said, I'm going to play this video and it should really highlight a lot of these concepts. But so the Second Amendment gives people the right to keep and bear arms, to own guns for security, often linked to a well-regulated militia. Yeah, definitely linked. The Third Amendment prevents the government from forcing you to house soldiers in your home during peacetime without your consent or in wartime, except as allowed by the law. Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. They usually need a warrant based on probable cause to search your property or take your stuff. And I have seen this violated so many times. And this also goes into the digital world. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches. We're talking about phone records, emails, all these things. Like, you are being violated. You have no privacy at all. So with that, I'm going to turn over to this. Let's see if I can pull this up, actually. Okay. I have been enjoying these tremendously. You do have to enroll. It's completely free, but I figure this will give a great little test, a little teaser taste. Taste teaser? I don't know. Test tasting teaser. A teasing now this is getting serious because now I got to figure it out. A taste testing teaser? That doesn't really feel right. So regardless of what I was trying to just say a few minutes ago, I hope you guys enjoy this. Now, this is underneath understanding capitalism. And yes, it's going to be geared towards economics and these things and also value and all these wonderful concepts. But why I'm playing this, why this is connected to the American way and freedom is because I had no idea. I had no idea that capitalism is way more than economics. It goes into the human concept of values and of morality and freedoms, believe it or not. So I'm going to let the video do the talking instead of me blabbing. But I hope you guys enjoy it. It's so good. And yes, now I got to figure out how to play it.
Welcome. My name is Charles Steele, Associate Professor of Economics at Hillsdale College, and I'm your instructor for this course. We'll begin our course by examining important features of human nature and human choice and action including the limits of our knowledge and abilities. We will discuss basic elements of the capitalist system and see how features of this system tend to direct our actions in positive ways that permit us to flourish. Overall, we will emphasize the practical and moral implications of capitalism, and we will see why this is the system that enables human flourishing. But why does this matter? What's the point of learning this material? The mission of Hillsdale College is to provide liberal education. The purpose of liberal education is to free the student, to permit him or her to be capable of self-government, that is, governing himself, and also participating in a society governed ultimately by the people themselves. Fundamental to a free people is their ability to provide for themselves and others. One cannot be free if one is dependent upon the government for one's sustenance. That's the path to serfdom, to servility, to being a slave. If we are to remain free, it is necessary that we understand the system that enables us to be free and self-sustaining, and it's important that we have an appreciation for why and how it works. If we forget this, we will fall prey to the false notion that things like bureaucratic management or socialism are workable alternatives to capitalism and freedom, and they are not.
I don't want to.
Our topic today, what is capitalism? We hear capitalism, capitalistic system, on every hand. But just what is capitalism?
So what is capitalism? It is not ruled by capitalists. It is not the free market, although free markets are an important part of it. Capitalism is an economic system characterized by 4 components: private property rights, freedom of action, exchange, and contract, a medium of exchange, money, and the rules or institutions that protect and foster these. Let's look at each one of these in turn. The fundamental institution of the capitalist system is private property rights, including ownership of the means of production. This should be understood to include the right to one's own person and efforts, that is, labor. These are the rights of human beings. They are rights of the individual. And rights has a particular meaning in this context. It refers to rights inherent in man's nature. These are the rights identified by the 17th century philosopher John Locke in his 2 treatises on government. They are the inalienable rights of America's Declaration of Independence. When Thomas Jefferson called these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it was commonly understood that ownership of private property is a necessary means for pursuing human flourishing. The recent assertion by the World Economic Forum that in the future you'll own nothing and be happy is nonsense. Owning nothing is the status of a slave. The capitalist system is based, first of all, on the recognition of individual rights. And there are several ways to interpret these rights. From a secular viewpoint, these are the conditions necessary for an individual to use his or her intellect to take care of himself and make himself better off. Alternatively, from a biblical perspective, each individual is given, by God, free will and moral responsibility. These can only be exercised when a person's rights are respected, when his freedom is protected. Note that these 2 perspectives, the secular and the biblical, are completely compatible and complementary. Now, I emphasize property rights because they are foundational to capitalism. We sometimes hear reference to state capitalism, but this is just another name for government control or socialism. The essence of capitalism is that it is an economy directed by individual citizens who exercise control over their own private property and use it in production and trade in free enterprise. This includes, of course, cases where individuals pool their property together to form corporations, partnerships, other kinds of firms and organizations. This remains private property owned by individuals and, again, is essential to capitalism. A corollary or implication of private property is that individuals are free to use and control their property as they see fit, so long as they do not violate the equal rights of others. This includes the freedom to transfer and exchange rights to pieces of property in mutually agreed upon exchange. We often call this the free market, and that's a useful metaphor. But I don't use the term very much here because it can be misleading. It is not the market that is free. It is people who are free to make their own decisions and exchanges and relations, not hampered or commanded by others, such as government officials. Under capitalism, trades must be voluntary for the parties involved. This is why capitalism is able to create mutual gain and prosperity, while alternative systems do not. We will explore this more deeply in later lessons, but for now, note that freedom of action means the right to use one's property as one sees fit, the right to propose exchanges with others, the right to accept or reject any proposed exchange, and the right and ability to enforce the exchange. This is what is meant by freedom of action, an essential part of capitalism. Money, a common medium of exchange, is a third fundamental feature of capitalism. Money facilitates trade. Money prices allow each of us to make known to others the things we need and how intensely we want them relative to other things. Money and money prices allow us to compare different courses of action and to choose the one more likely to be desired by others and beneficial to ourselves. Money allows capital accounting and the very notion of capital, which are fundamental to the system. So, this is more than just markets. We could imagine a barter system with private property and freedom of action, but that is not capitalism, and it could not sustain a complex economy with many specialized goods and services that would be impossible to barter. For example, I produce economics lectures. It would be impossible for me to barter them for groceries, gasoline, and my mortgage payment. But I can find willing buyers. I can trade my lectures for money, and I use this to buy the things I need. Sound money is fundamental for capitalism. Finally, a fourth component of capitalism is the basic rules or institutions that protect the system. These include both formal and informal rules. Formal rules or institutions are those which are written and enforced, typically by government. Laws that protect private property, that protect and enforce voluntary contracts, and that limit the ability of government officials to interfere with production. These are essential. Informal rules are those which are followed by the people themselves, things such as customs, habits, practices, ethics, and a general attitude towards each other's rights. These are the cultural bedrock of capitalism. The economist Ludwig von Mises observed that a market economy can only be preserved if the majority support it. Thomas Jefferson maintained that an educated populace is the best defense against tyranny, more important than laws. That's capitalism. Private property, free exchange, money, and the rules and laws to protect these. But why is this important? The answer lies in the nature of man. Man is unique among creatures on the earth. Man is the rational animal. Man, unlike other creatures, is self-directed. He chooses courses of action. Every creature pursues some end, and ultimately, that end is to thrive according to the nature of the creature. This is what life does. This is what it is about. To flourish is to live in accord with one's own nature. For most creatures, this is not a difficult issue. For an ant in an ant colony, a fish in a school, or an elk in a herd, actions are dictated by their nature. But man is different. Man is a human soul with the power of intellect and the ability to form purposes and make choices. Unlike most creatures, man does not simply respond to urges. Man has choice. He can deliberate, he can learn, he can exercise self-control, and he learns about his world. He considers possibilities. He formulates purposes, goals, and objectives, and he ranks his opportunities accordingly. He chooses among the possibilities. He can create, innovate, and invent. He can change his environment. This graphic illustrates the fundamental relation of economics. Man formulates purposes, but he also faces constraints, ends, and limited means. These require the necessity of choice, and choice, in turn, implies the necessity of cost. This is the formula describing all human action. All action involves choice of an end to pursue, and always at a cost. To choose one alternative is to forego other alternatives. That is, cost. Cost is an inescapable part of all action, all pursuit of human purposes. To understand this is the beginning of economics and the beginning of understanding capitalism. This understanding means that economics is not just about studying the pursuit of material wealth. It is about all action in pursuit of all purposes, including the intellectual, the social, and the spiritual. Economics is fundamentally about how people pursue all their goals. And, as we'll see, capitalism is the system that best supports human flourishing. Economics is about much more than material wealth, but material wealth is important. A hungry child cannot eat truth, goodness, and beauty. And there are few things higher than caring for the needs of a child, as parents know. But man does not live by bread alone, and capitalism is the system that permits men to pursue the full range of their needs and values as they understand them. Man, then, is the rational animal who chooses his actions. He is also the moral animal who bears responsibility for his actions and, under capitalism, takes the consequences of his action. And he's the imaginative animal who can learn from his environment and discover new options and possibilities. He can innovate and create. He can develop that which is new, bounded, of course, by the laws of reality and of nature. How, then, does a person choose among alternatives? He chooses that which he thinks best suits his needs. He evaluates his options. Implicitly, he selects according to his values. He ranks the options he faces and chooses what he thinks is best. Economists often observe that value is subjective. Different people with different preferences and purposes will rank things differently. For example, consider two pairs of new shoes, a pair of golf shoes and a pair of running shoes, costing the same amount of money, if you like. Given the choice between them, I, a runner, will choose the running shoes over the golf shoes. The cost of that choice is the golf shoes that I could have had. But alternatively, my colleague is an avid golfer and, given the choice, selects the golf shoes. His cost is the running shoes. Therefore, economists say that economic value is subjective. We each value options according to our own purposes and ends. Freedom of choice under capitalism enables us to pursue our different ends. However, sometimes the term subjective value is misunderstood to mean that moral principles and ethics are subjective. Economic values and moral principles, often called values, are very different things. The political philosopher Harry Jaffa clarified this difference nicely. Economic values are simply the rankings that individuals attach to the options they face. For example, how much of one good, say money, would I be willing to give up to get one more pair of running shoes? As economists put it, I make this decision at the margin, and my answer depends on how intensely I want one more pair of running shoes, compared to the other things I might obtain. That value is subjective. It depends on me. Moral principles, or moral values, on the other hand, pertain to all men, all human beings. These exist as a moral code that helps us to sort good actions from bad actions. Moral principles are objective and universal. That might be a controversial statement in some circles, but all human societies understand that murder is wrong, and all human societies have a concept of theft. Like rights, morals are also conditions of man's nature, and they're given by God. The subjectivity of economic value and the objectivity of moral principles and values are two different things, and they're compatible. They're not in contradiction. If human flourishing, living, and thriving, according to one's nature, is a moral good, capitalism is the system that enables it. It frees the individual to pursue his best interest as he understands it, and restricts him from preventing others from pursuing their best interests. It offers him the opportunity to learn, innovate, grow, and provides means for this better than any alternative system does. It provides the greatest scope for man to exercise his capacity as the rational animal. It allows man the greatest opportunity to advance his knowledge, his vision, and his understanding of what is possible and what is good. In the next lesson, we will see how man, as the rational animal, functions as man, the social animal, in the capitalist system.
Saying that when things look the worst, that too much pessimism could be deadly. Some people criticize me for trying to sugarcoat bad news. I merely wanted us to remember that there's a psychological factor in recession. Too much hammering at it makes recession worse. What pulled us through that ordeal, I'm convinced, was our determination to stick to our program, believe in ourselves, and trust in our values of faith, freedom, and hard work. Values that have never failed us when we've lived up to them. And now we're seeing the faith.
So you can see these are like full, awesome courses. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And whoa, I'm big. Whoa, I disappeared. Wait, what is going on? It's always a struggle with the StreamYard for me. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I really love the content that the Hillsdale College is putting out. And I think why I'm drawn to it is because it's what is needed to happen. So I always go back to this thing where I'm like, okay, we need to save our country. Got it. Okay. Clean out the deep state, the total sellouts, corrupt, evil, Luciferian. Let's get rid of them. Okay. By God, divine power and help with the patriots and the citizen journalism and all that. We've been able to expose these things, and hopefully those will be brought to light. But as that's happening, we're inheriting this system that's been so dependent on the New World Order that we have to re-educate. And, you know, for people that have children, if you could homeschool them, be so beneficial. I don't even care at this point what you teach. It's going to be better than what they teach there. And I know that sounds insane, but let me tell you, I have heard firsthand the things that come from some of these schools. And then it's just like, wow. So it's very, a lot of the stuff that comes from the schools, I notice separate people. You know, we're diverse and all these things, but that's like, actually, that's exactly like the Q post that says that they want you divided. They want you silenced. They want you separated. They don't want you to communicate. What we need to do is, well, and again, these courses are great because some of them go through history. They're saying, we're not saying that things that happened in American history were right or wrong. They're talking about the slavery situation. But they're like, we look at it objectively, and we want the student to put themselves there and make these decisions and these thoughts of like what was going on at that time and why were people a certain way and what was the ideology and what was the cultural backgrounds as to why they were that way, and like just really getting into it and understanding history Because when you understand history, then you could see patterns, right? And so, anyways, all these things, if we can learn, what makes us Americans, if we can learn our original, the people that founded America, when they said screw you over in England, those people, where were their heads at? Let's be like them, right? Let's be dangerous and adventurous and wanting to create and wanting our own land and not wanting people to hang out in our house in quarters. So we're going to make an amendment about that. And the right to have guns, because screw that, they're trying to take away our weapons. Like, this was founded by people that were smart, they were based, right? And we need to bring that back. And so this whole video with capitalism, I hope you guys enjoyed it, because even though it was like about capitalism, you can see how it was, but it was also too much deeper about freedom to pursue happiness, and that the best model for the pursuit of your happiness is capitalism. There are issues with like I've mentioned before, with monopolies and things that we have encountered that have thrived under capitalism, and we don't want to remove anyone's rights. But we can also see how certain plays that were made by giant corporations, and they start getting buddy with people in Congress, and then certain laws are passed and then that benefit these giant corporations. We need to figure that out. We need to figure that out. I don't have the answer, so a lot of times I don't talk about it. But other than that problem that I'm very sure we, the American people, can figure out, we can at least definitely have people talk about it. We need a platform for debate about it and figure out how to fix that system in our capitalistic system, because we do want freedom. And I like how he said the free market. It's not what you think, like I'm just trading in a free market. That's great. He's like, no, it's meaning you are a free person to freely trade. And you don't have any government that tells you that you can't do that. That is what we need to return to, and the spirit of that. So anyways, love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, it was I'm pre-recording this. I spliced it together. I obviously am premiering it on YouTube. So hi guys on YouTube, and I should be in the chat. That was my goal. So I love you all. Thank you for watching. And I hope that this inspired you and made you feel like discovering what it is to be an American. Why are we doing this? How do we preserve and protect our freedoms? We just take it so for granted. These other countries, man, like, they do not have freedom. Some of them don't even have power. Like, I'm telling you, you need to find a way to be involved. And it doesn't have to be crazy. It could just even be friends and being a light to somebody down the street, or helping your neighbor. Or you could decide to run for city council, or you could be like, you know what? I'm going to do this after-hour program that helps some of the homeless people. Or I'm going to, like, all these good actions that are good and beautiful in God's eyes, and beautiful as a citizen in America. Any of that stuff you guys are called to do. It's wonderful as you do that. But this is how we get back. We need to teach ourselves again. Dang it. We got brainwashed. Well, I didn't really get brainwashed, but you see a lot of people around you and you're like, what is it to be American? Like, I have a general idea, but it's like, I want to know more. I want to get deeper. So that's what I'm going to keep on doing. Like I said, I don't know what this is going to evolve into, but I really like what these guys are putting out, and it causes you to think. And I think thinking is the number one thing that the elites don't want you to do. So let's do it. All right. God bless. Where we go one, we go all.
just there to guide you. Our flag still waves through stormy skies with hearts of freedom. We now rise. Let's make America great again. Through blood, sweat, and tears, America great again. Free your mind and face all your fears. Let's make America great again. Liberty and freedom and justice for all. Let's make America great again. It's time to rise to the call. We rise once again, 'cause we're here to make America great again. Mighty warriors standing in the storm. Oh, I see you, and I salute you.